Okay, I think we should be live by now. So, Devlog recently got an update. It's still a demo, but I believe there's been more content added to it. Also, you may notice that there's music now, if you saw the previous one. I thought that there was no music because it was an alpha build, but it turns out, in my sound settings, the music was just turned down all the way. Oops. So I'm just gonna start over again and make some different choices just to see what happens that's different. You know, I never was too keen on the idea of going to college. Sure, it might be nice to go, but what for? I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I still don't, not really, and practically speaking, my grades limited me to only certain professions. I wasn't going to be a surgeon or some nuclear scientist, that's for sure, but I knew I still needed to do something with myself, else my parents would drag me to the nearest army recruitment office. So I applied everywhere I could. The place I really hoped I would get into was... let's see. Which is the one that's a writing major? I guess I'll go for digital arts. I'm certainly no great artist, but my high school art teacher said I had potential. Plus, learning is the point of college, right? Hey Taylor Lighter, hey Doodle Deer, good to see you again. I even sent a few applications to some of the fancier colleges, even if it was more as a joke. One of those joke applications was to CCC, Cretaceous College of Computing. The punchline is that CCC accepted my application. I'm not sure who was more surprised, me or my parents. After looking into it, it turned out that apparently a bunch of humans won some big court case about unfair enrollment practices in the higher-end colleges, or something like that, so now they're all scrambling to get as many humans in their schools as possible. Well, I sure wasn't gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. Especially not a full scholarship with boarding and monthly commissary allowance for any store on the campus shaped horse. Hey Voden. You picked writing major because of Rebecca? Yeah, I think I picked art by mistake. I'm not sure which one of those options is writing. So, here I am, on a bus, heading straight to the CCC campus with only a duffel bag's worth of my things to my name. The driver interrupts my thoughts. We are now arriving at the Cretaceous College of Computing campus. If you are getting off, please remember to take any personal possessions you may have brought in, as well as any trash. From all of us at Blue Albertosaur Busing, we thank you for choosing us. Devlog, a postmodern college experience. Yeah, it's way different with music. Rude. No other humans. Figured there would be more that got the same scholarship. Oh well, maybe they took some other bus, or got here early? Cretaceous College of Computing loomed before me. It was... imposing and brutalistic. Concrete cubes among concrete cubes with rectangular glass windows. The bleary color palette was completed by greenery of the quasi-megafauna that grew alongside the walkways and roads. The starting place for countless success stories. If you can do well here, then you are basically guaranteed success in life. At least, that's what their brochure said. I squint against the sun, taking in the sight of the students milling about. My hometown was populated by mostly humans. I've seen other dinos before, but not this many at the same time, same place. Their scales shimmer in hues that my hometown's limited palette could never have imagined. I wonder if they think I'm an oddity. The lawsuit thing was about no humans going here. Maybe this is the first time they've seen a human before? There are dino-only towns as far as I know. Some raptors in Letterman jackets snicker as they pass by. The excitement that had bubbled within me during the bus ride now gives way to an unsettling apprehension. I try to shrug it off. I was told someone would be here to greet me, but as minutes ticked by, nobody came. I scan the crowd again, looking for any sign of a welcome committee, but I'm only met by the indifferent gazes of pterodactyls chilling on some benches and a Spinosaurus chatting animatedly in groups. Then a green parasaur cuts through the throng with a purposeful stride. His eyes are creased with annoyance. I don't know who's reflecting the sun more, his gelled golden hair or my bald head. His expression is sour enough to curdle milk, and approaches with an air of someone who has far better things to do. Dev A. Loper. His voice has an authoritative ring to it that makes me stand up straighter. That's me. I try for a smile. I'm the student union president, Elliot. He thrusts a stack of papers into my hands. Schedules, maps, pamphlets. The dean made me your welcome committee, but I have a million other things that I need to do, so let's get this over with quick. He pulls out a paper from his pocket and begins reading it. Hello and welcome to Cretaceous College of Computing and blah blah blah. He actually says blah blah blah. I feel my eyes getting bigger as he keeps talking, trying to soak in all the info he's giving me. We are happy to provide young and underprivileged humans such as yourselves a chance at becoming your best selves, blah blah blah. It's not of much value, sadly. The papers you have been given include detailed descriptions of all of our facilities, a map of the campus, your schedule, blah, blah, blah. He seems to be scanning the paper, only to put it aside. Look, I'm sure you can figure all this stuff out on your own. I hope you can if you're planning on making it here. Do you have any questions? Like I said, I need to get going. What? I realize a moment too late that I'd blurted that out. His claw taps impatiently on the top sheet, pointedly not remarking to my very insightful response. My eyes dart across what turns out to be my schedule. Most of it seems normal, but musical theory? Advanced world histories? I don't remember picking these. He gives a confused expression as he grabs my schedule and looks over the page before going through several other papers he's carrying. There may have been a mix-up. What major did you pick? General Studies. With a roll of his eyes, he tosses my schedule back. So, you're the one that... Elliot shakes his head. This isn't a community college. You were supposed to have a major. We don't even have a general studies course. Well, we didn't. Somehow, no one noticed the issue until 2 weeks ago or something, so they had to scramble to throw one together before the semester started. All for you. Well, that's a promising start. Well, if that's all, I'm going to get going. He gives what could best be described as a sarcastic wave before he starts walking off. Wait, he barely gave me any information at all. How was that an orientation? Where are the dorms? He turns towards me, but continues walking away backwards. I gave you a map, genius. You can figure it out on your own. And with that, he's gone. Great. I'm left amidst a sea of strangers. I should probably start by finding my dorm, but... the map looks to be useless. It's made up of nondescript boxes with little dark lines indicating roads or paths without any detailed landmarks. How is anyone supposed to find anything with this thing? Whatever. How hard can it be to find one building? Two hours later. With the sun falling towards the horizon, my spirits fall with it. Years of gaming and surfing obscure websites have given me absolutely no useful abilities at deciphering the symbols on this so-called map. I check it again, trying to convince myself that I was going the right way. Yet, looking around, I find myself right back where I had started. I'm not even sure how I managed that. Huh? A loud whooshing noise makes me look up just in time to see a blur of red and blue heading straight for me. Watch out! Ow. What the... Sorry. The dinosaur untangles himself from me and stands up, extending a clawed hand to help me up. Didn't see you there. I took his hand, wincing as I got back on my feet. Yeah, clearly. The dinosaur in front of me was a pterodactyl with red feathers and a sheepish grin. He rubbed the back of his neck, looking genuinely embarrassed. Super sorry about that. I was practicing gliding and totally didn't see you walk in my path. You think you could maybe practice somewhere that's not right in the middle of campus? His wings drooped a bit, his grin faltering. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Are you okay? Did I hurt you? My shoulder hurts a bit, but I'll live. He looks relieved, but still concerned. Let me make it up to you. Need help finding something? You look kinda lost. I'm Theo, by the way. Dev, and you could say that I'm looking for the dorms. The dorms? Didn't orientation show you all that? If by orientation you mean dumped a bunch of papers on me and then bailed, then no. Huh, Well then, lucky for you, I'm an expert navigator, so consider me your personal tour guide. Theo clapped a wing on my back, almost knocking me off balance. Come on then, let's find your place. With Theo's guidance, the cryptic map started to make sense. He pointed out various landmarks that could be found on it, a statue here, a particularly gnarled tree there, and eventually we found our way to the dormitories. That's the common room, great for all-nighters. Over there's the laundry, would recommend going in early if you don't want to battle for a washer. And here we are. We reached what looked like the right building, 2 stories of brick and stone standing sentinel at the edge of campus. Theo pushed open the heavy door with a flourish. This is it. What's your dorm number? I double-checked the paper. 482. We navigate through a massive collection of dinosaurs, milling about or talking with friends. 478, 480, there, 482. You're home away from home. The room was larger than I expected. 2 beds on opposite walls with desks beneath lofted bunks. Guess this palace is all yours. Seems so. Lucky. Maybe they saw who they were rooming with and bailed. Theo shrugged off my self-deprecating joke with another easy smile. Their loss. More space for you. Besides, who needs roommates when you've got neighbors like me? We're neighbors? Well, no, but I'm only 1 floor down. That's practically neighbors, right? Well, I can't argue with that. Do you have a roommate? Duh, everyone does. I gestured to the other half of my new room. Almost everyone. What are they like? He's an acquired taste kind of guy, but grows on you, eventually. I toss my bag onto the nearest bed and glance around at the empty space. Place is kinda depressing as it is. A roommate sounds neat, bummer. Okay, I didn't pick this option last time. It would certainly liven the place up a bit, plus I would only have to worry about decorating my side. In any case, I should get some posters or something. Hey, you hungry? Cafeteria food isn't half bad if you know what to avoid. As if on cue, my stomach roars. Starving. We walk side by side, my stomach growling louder with each step towards the cafeteria. Inside, the hall buzzes with 100 conversations. The scent of sizzling meat and overcooked vegetables is heavy in the air. I didn't expect it to be this lively. Wait until you see the feeding frenzy during finals. So you've been here before? Yup, 2nd year. Oh, neat. I take a look at the prices next to the stuff on the menu. Sweet Raptor Jesus. $5 for a single bottle of water? $7 for small fries? Well, crap. What's up? I knew the prices here would be bad, but not this bad. I'm running on fumes here, financially speaking. 1 meal is gonna wipe out the cash I have on me. I think I might just hit up the vending machines. Gotta wait for the allowance to kick in. Theo claps me on the back. Don't sweat it. My treat. I can't let you do that. We only just met. I don't like the idea of owing a stranger. Theo gasps dramatically. A stranger? After all that bonding together we did? Finding your room, entering your room, exiting your room. Finding the cafeteria, entering the cafeteria. He laughs too. I feel a knot undo itself inside my chest. Socializing. Not that hard, right? But no, I get you. Huh. You know how to read? What kind of question is that? Yes? You can pay me back by helping me out on my next history assignment. Can barely pay attention during class. I guess it's a fair deal, but I don't know. Not like I have a better option. Take the deal. Theo wiggles his eyebrows. Come on. Fine, yes, thank you. But I'll pay you back as soon as my allowance comes. Don't be stubborn, Dev. We already have an agreement going on. Plus, you've got no idea, but you'll end up wishing you hadn't sold your soul for a lunch meal. That makes me pause. What kind of history assignments does this guy have? I was never super great at history, so I hope I didn't just enter some sort of Faustian deal for a sandwich. Well, aren't all friendships something like that in the end? I'm not that experienced on the topic, but I relax and follow Theo to the lunch queue. We walk over to get our food when I notice there are 2 serving areas marked herbivore and carnivore, respectively. The herbivore side is full of leafy concoctions, towering salads, steamed veggies, and grains in every flavor. But then there's the carnivore side. Burgers, strips of bacon, sausages. Theo heads straight for the carnivore section, grabbing a tray and piling on a little bit of everything. I grab and fill my tray with... Steamed vegetables and veggie pizza. Mom taught me to love my greens. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, and meatballs, all between the same buns. I'm given disposable gloves to handle the burger. A bowl of cheese and nothing more. Just cheese is the option that I wanted to pick last time but didn't. Theo has already stacked his tray with various meats by the time I join him in the line. He has this huge drumstick in one hand, nibbling on it as we move forward. You sure that's all you want? Yes. You can get what you want, obviously. I'm good. He shrugs and continues eating. I take a bite of my meal with one hand while the other holds the tray. The food tastes slightly bitter because it was a gift, no matter the supposed payment I would have to give in the form of helping Theo with his schoolwork. For all I know, he might just be messing with me about how bad his history assignments are. In any case, the food finds a way to battle past the bitterness and fill me with comfort, and so does Theo's happy mood. We reach the cashier, and Theo flashes his credit card for both our meals, gesturing for me to follow him and to find seats in the crowded dining hall. We maneuver through the crowd, and Theo leads me to a quieter corner where a girl with spiky hair and spikier clothes sits alone, her eyes glued to a laptop screen. A half-eaten sandwich lies forgotten beside her. And here is my amazing, awesome, beautiful sister, Rebecca. The dino snaps her head towards Theo in an angry snarl. Her fangs are even spikier. Theo, I swear, I don't want to meet another one of your new... Her eyes flick up briefly before staring at me. I should probably say something. Hi, I'm Dev? Smooth, Dev. Real smooth. You're a human. An uncomfortable laugh escapes my mouth. Last I checked, is that an issue? No. And with that, she turns away. Her fingers are already dancing across the keys. I sigh. Don't worry, the fact that she's even talking to you at all means she likes you. Judging by the absolute death glare she's giving Theo, I question whether that is true. You don't really see humans here, or even in town. Was like that even last year. Really? Yep, you're a bit of a rarity at CCC. I remember Elliot's comment about me being the only human here. Huh, did no one else apply to the same scholarship I got? Well, no one really seems to care if that's the case. People have far more to worry about here than some random human walking around. Harsh, but fair. Despite her comments, her gaze remains fixed on the screen. The steady click, click, click of her typing somehow cuts through the noise. I try to focus on my food, but my thoughts keep drifting. It was weird to be sitting here, sharing a meal with two near strangers, one of whom seemed as though she'd rather be alone, and another who couldn't wait to spend the rest of his day dragging me all over the campus. I've never really been this far from home before, and this is going to be my life for the next several years. So, Dev, what brought you to CCC? Scholarship. Really? That's sick, dude. Lucky you. What was the scholarship for? You some sort of genius or sports star? He gives me a playful nudge. For being human, I think. I don't really fully understand it myself, to be honest. They both look at me with confused expressions. I looked it up, and it seems to be something to try and get more humans in these fancier colleges. There was even some big lawsuit about it. But you're the only one here. I know. I mean, it's weird enough that no one else got the scholarship, but you'd think even without it there would be more humans here. Not really. Dinosaurs are just better suited for college than humans. Rebecca? It's true. Our memory and attention span are better. Makes cramming for SATs and entry exams a breeze compared to humans. I don't think that's true. It's not. She's just messing with you. Am I? Right. Well, it doesn't help that it's all so different here, and I don't really know anyone. Theo laughs, momentarily confusing me. You know me, and now you know Rebecca. Are you saying we're no one? He nudges his sister with an elbow, but only earns an annoyed glance. No, of course not. But there's more to college than just meeting people, isn't there? Making friends is just the beginning. You'll find your groove, dive into projects, and before you know it, you're a part of the fabric here. Rebecca suddenly stops typing and looks up at her brother with a scowl. He just met us, so stop acting like we've known each other for years or something. I mean, she isn't wrong, but it still seems a bit rude. Don't mind Miss Grumpy. She gets like this sometimes, but she doesn't mean anything by it. Stop acting like I'm not here, or like I'm a child. Becca, your warm and fuzzy welcome is exactly why I brought Dev here. I wanted him to feel right at home. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is not to let college scare you. You'll find your way. Rebecca snorts but says nothing. Or Becca, don't let her scare you either. Theo, if he runs off because of me, he isn't gonna last here long anyway. She seems... Actually, I don't know what to make of her. She's been focused on her laptop nearly this whole time, typing up a storm about something. I'm not at a good angle to really see what it is, and I don't want to seem like I'm spying. Maybe I should just ask. A sort of icebreaker, even if she doesn't exactly seem like she likes me. Okay, what happens if you don't be nosy? It's probably best if I leave her be. So, what's got you so invested in writing now? I'm sure Dev would like to know too. Dude. Come on, don't tell me you aren't curious. I shrug. It's not our business. He's right, it's not. While it is true that curiosity is killing me, if we'd exchanged places, I'd be just as annoyed. 2 against 1, it's not fair. Theo places a hand on his chest, dramatically feigning being hurt by my betrayal to our newly formed friendship. Do you try to peek at other people's phones when they're not looking too? Theo's mouth hangs open while Rebecca, surprisingly, snickers at my remark. I wouldn't... He totally does that. Well then, keep your secrets, Becca. I bet it's more fanfiction about colorful horses anyways. What? Don't? As I poke at the last few crumbs of my meal, a new face suddenly strides up to our table. Raptor Jesus, those assholes can't give me one moment of... I'm not sure which of us is more confused about the other's presence. Elliot, what's up, man? Have you met Dev yet? Finally breaking off the stare, Elliot's face drops with a grimace. Of course, my newest friend would also happen to be friends with the guy that left me to get lost in campus. All things considered, it makes sense that overwhelmingly friendly Theo would be friends with basically anyone. What the hell is he doing here? He was invited, unlike you. Rebecca coming to my defense surprises me. She must dislike Elliot more than she dislikes this random human her brother dragged along. So you two do know each other. He was the orientation I mentioned to you when we met. Really? You know he spent like an hour trying to find the dorms, right? You really just left him hanging? I gave him a map. Elliot? Look, I had stuff to deal with. Elliot? Okay, fine, I'm sorry. Damn. Well, the important thing is that you learn from your mistakes. Sure, thanks, Dad. Anytime. Why are you even here? Because Theo texted me he was eating, and I always sit here? Unfortunately. Truthfully, I'm still a bit annoyed about what Elliot pulled. However, not only has the conversation already moved on, but Theo's eyes light up like he just had the best idea. I think it's time for proper introductions. Theo, we've all met before. Yeah, what is this, elementary school? Nah, this is different. Dev's new here. It's only fair. I glance around the table. Despite his enthusiasm, it's clear he's the only one on board with doing this. Not to mention, it's a bit childish. I mean, I already know your names. Theo waves a hand dismissively. He points to himself with both thumbs, grinning. I'm Theodore Chase, but you can call me Theo, 2nd year here at CCC and future creator of the next big indie game. Our dad is a Microraptor and our mom is a Pterodactyl. I take after both of them, which is why I look all funky. A genetic freak is what you mean. You're just jealous you only took after Dad. I like meat, video games, programming, FND Let's Plays, and I think that's it. For all the hassle he caused about introducing oneself properly, he sure gave the rest of us a very underwhelming presentation. I give it 6.5 out of 10. Sufficient, but won't be entering any lists for the best of anything this year. He looks to his sister. The glare he receives in response could melt steel. Elliot is just picking at his food, seemingly ignoring Theo. Finally, he turns to me. Crap. Come on. Show these two how it's done. Don't hold anything back. I would really prefer not to. This is a safe space, Dev. You can be honest with us. Also, please throw me a bone. You can't leave me hanging after revealing all my darkest secrets like that. It's becoming increasingly difficult to say no to the guy. Fine. Well, he asked for it. Tell them everything. Well, I'm Dev A. Loper, as you know. I'm a freshman here, and yeah, I got in on a scholarship for reasons that are still kind of beyond me. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do here, to be honest. I like games, tech stuff, but there's no grand plan or anything. I guess you could say I'm sort of winging it, which sounds really bad out loud now that I'm saying it. Back home, I wasn't exactly, well, let's just say social circles and I didn't really overlap. The fitting in part of life has always been a bit of a challenge. And here, well, it's like that everybody's getting so awkward. It's like that, but with a side of, oh, hey, you're different from literally everyone else, so there's that. Honestly, sometimes it just feels like everyone's got their act together but me. Like there's this secret to life that everyone knows but forgot to tell me about. Okay, that was good. Really took that everything to heart. Yeah, thanks for trauma dumping on us. It was great. Wait, is he done? I zoned out there for a moment. I think he was messing with us. Whatever. Oh, right, I forgot to add, I'm human? We noticed. Are you actually asking us if you are? No, because he... Never mind. There's a moment of silence. Rebecca sighs in that kind of disappointment when you hear from your parents that they tell you they're not angry, but again, just disappointed. It's just as discouraging. Theo looks at Rebecca and Elliot expectantly. Come on, both me and Dev did it. Fine, if it'll get you off this bit. He clears his throat rather sarcastically. Hello, class. I'm 23 years old and my name is Elliot Reddington of the Reddington family. Nothing? Really? I look around and find both Theo and Rebecca are looking at me. Wait, was I supposed to know who the Reddingtons are? People typically have a reaction when they find out I'm a Reddington. I shrug. You know, like the real estate company? What about Red Origin, the frickin' space company? Rebecca seems to have lost interest in the conversation, but Elliot and Theo continue to stare at me. I shrug up again, thinking how much I'd rather have the Earth swallow me up right here, right now. Whatever, that's all you get. Okay, that was good. Rebecca? She sighs. You know my name already, and you know I'm his sister. And that you're a fast typer. Rebecca stares at me, bemused. That, too, sure. You know that. Guess I'm done with my presentation. Right, well, now we're no longer strangers. Small talk fills the rest of our lunch. It's still awkward, but maybe not as much as before. It's mostly Theo driving the conversation, with Elliot occasionally jumping in with a sarcastic remark or two. Rebecca stays mostly quiet, only offering a word when directly spoken to or when she has a sharp comment. I find myself chiming in more than I expected. We talk about classes, professors known for their impossible exams, and the best spots on campus to grab a midnight snack. It's all pretty mundane stuff, but it feels good. Normal, even. Maybe Theo had a point after all when he forced us through those introductions. As the cafeteria starts to empty and the noise level drops, Theo slaps his hands on the table, startling me. Hey Dev, you want to come over and play some games? I've got a pretty sweet setup back at my dorm. Elliot can vouch for it. Elliot nods, grinning. Yeah, he's not lying. Well, except about it being his. The games are mine, the TV and console are his. Rebecca snorts. Only reason to ever go to their room. Oh, so you're the acquired taste roommate. The what? Theo blanches. Elliot looks alarmed. Rebecca simply snorts again. I hesitate, but only for a moment. It sounds like fun, and honestly, I could use a break from all the stress of today. Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Awesome! You're gonna love it. Theo, Elliot, and myself shuffle into their dorm room while Rebecca goes off to do her own thing without saying goodbye. I asked Theo about it, but he said she does that when she's had her fill of socializing for the moment. Their room mirrors mine in size, but feels entirely different. Posters of old-school video games plaster the walls, and there's a vibe here. Two vibes, actually. Elliot's half is meticulously clean with everything in its place, while Theo's side is a storm of sketches and scattered game cases where one can't even take a step without looking down first. Well, I guess you can try walking in blind, but stepping on these cases would be just as bad as stepping on a Lego. If not for Elliot's tidy half, I wouldn't know the color of the floor. I'm not sure if I've ever seen anything that demonstrates the duality of order and chaos so perfectly. Theo grabs a couple of controllers and tosses one my way. Get ready to get schooled. Elliot settles into his desk chair, swiveling to face us. I'd join, but I've seen how this ends. I'll just enjoy the show. Theo launches a game that I recognize but haven't played in a while. Hyper Punch Sisters. Everyone in middle school had it. I think we even had a fighting game club where it was the only thing anyone played. It's all quick reflexes and strategy, two things that I'm decent but rusty at. I choose a well-rounded character. We dive into the first match, and Theo's character is a non-stop flurry of movement, twitching back and forth and randomly crouching. I may be in over my head here. Okay, warm-up round doesn't count. I'm grateful for the mulligan as I try to shake off the nerves and focus on the screen. There's a rhythm to the game that feels familiar, even when you're out of practice, a pattern to attacks, dodges, and counters that you start to feel more than you think about. Elliot watches us with an amused smirk, calling out pointers that are half helpful, half trolling. The match ends with my character face down on the virtual battlefield. Theo whoops in victory, but offers a good-natured nod. We play a few more rounds, all of which I lose spectacularly. Not bad for a newbie. I'm not. I used to play this all the time. I was one of the top players in my middle school. Rough. Well, you'll shake off the rust eventually, I'm sure. I'm less convinced about that than he is, but I nod anyway. What other games do you have? He motions to the floor around him. Loads. Name it and I probably have it. Got a bunch downloaded, too. Do you have Rock Ring 3? We could play co-op. No, I don't. Oh. Well, maybe, but I do have the MCG. Isn't that broken? Nah, they fixed it. We should play Rock Ring Harvest, though. Way cooler. Personally, I would still prefer 3, but Harvest is also good. Anything but 4, or Raptor Jesus forbid, 5. I can't help but involuntarily shudder. That's fine. Elliot, you joining in now that I can't whoop your butt? Yeah, sure, a mission or two. The room hums with the low buzz of consoles as it springs to life, the screen flashing the familiar logo of Rock Ring Harvest, the bombastic orchestra of the opening theme filling the room. It's been a while since I've played any Rock Rings, but I still have nostalgic memories about this franchise. Theo's animated as ever, while Elliot sits more reserved, but with a spark of anticipation in his eyes. We dive into co-op mode. Okay guys, which difficulty, Hunter or Gatherer? Both of those might be a bit advanced for Dev. We should do Weaver. I've played this before, pick Hunter. Oh, watch out, we got a badass over here. We charge through the first few enemies with surprising ease. My shots are a little off at first, but it doesn't take long to find my groove. I may have played a lot of HPS, but I breathed Rock Ring. Theo's character bounds ahead, fearless, sometimes too much, so he gets taken down more than once. Elliot plays far more defensively, always behind cover and always using precision weapons. Watch out! Thanks to his call-out, it only takes me a split second to spot the group of enemies ambushing us from the side. I swivel my character and open fire, the controller vibrating in my hands with each shot. Theo lets out a whoop as he tosses a rock at a large enemy's face, killing him instantly. Rocks were always a bit OP, but that's just a part of Rock Ring's charm. By the third mission, we're perfectly in sync, moving as one unit through the map, covering each other's backsides and sharing ammo when it runs low. The game's score swells around us, a soundtrack to accompany us victory after victory. Not bad, for a human. Question mark? I hear a ping from Elliot's direction. His face sours as he checks his phone. Damn it. I gotta leave. Now? It's like 10 p.m. Where are you going now? My parents are here. I was hoping to avoid this, but they want to meet up with me before they leave. That's why you've been stressed all day? He doesn't answer, simply shrugging. I'll probably be gone for a few hours, so don't wait up. The door clicks shut behind Elliot, and the room suddenly feels quieter, even with the game's action-packed music still playing in the background. Theo pauses the game and turns to me, his expression shifting from focused to something more thoughtful. I assume I'm better off not knowing? Theo shrugs. Family dynamics can be complicated, even more so when your parents are big-time CEOs. There's an awkward pause, but thankfully Theo fills it soon enough. You know, I've always wanted to make games, not just play them. I accept the change of topic with a nod. Who hasn't dreamt of making their own game? I want to create that next big something, not just for fame, but that new mechanic or system that pushes the whole industry, you know? His expression and tone are serious, but I can tell it's not because of what happened with Elliot. It might have started as just a change of topic, but clearly this is something he really cares about. I think I do, yeah. He leans back against his bed frame, arms crossed over his chest as he looks up at the ceiling. It's like this big dream I've got. What about you? Was making games always just a passing interest or something more? The question catches me off guard, and I pause for a moment to think. Like with so many others, the idea of making my own game has crossed my mind more than once, but I've never stopped to think about why I'd want to make one. Honestly, I've never really thought about it. It's definitely never been about becoming rich or famous or anything like that. So I guess if I had to say anything, it'd be about the same as you. You know, creating something and leaving a mark in the world, something lasting. Theo's eyes light up, his energy shifting as if he just downed an entire pot of coffee. Really? He's practically shouting, nearly knocking over his soda can in his sudden enthusiasm. I nod. Dude, we should totally do it. That guy can go from 0 to 60 and nothing flat. Whoa, slow down, man. I laugh, trying to temper his excitement with a dose of reality. I mean, it'd be awesome, but this is a lot to put on someone you just met. Shouldn't you ask Elliot or someone that you know is able to contribute? I don't even know what I could bring to the table. We've tried before, but... Nah, forget about that. Listen. We share the same passion, right? We both love games, and we can make something amazing together. I can't help but smile at his conviction. It's infectious and sort of makes me believe that maybe, just maybe, we could pull something like this off. And even if not, it might still be fun. We do have similar interests, but is that enough to start? Dude, great game started development with less than that. But where would we even start? What would it even be about? More importantly, how would we even make it? Don't worry about that. I've been programming since I can remember. I knew I should have learned to code for real the first time an internet rando told me to. Huh, told you, don't worry about that. All I need to know is what it is, and I promise I can make it work. Which, as for what, it could be an epic adventure, or a chill walking sim, or something. Anything. Those are just details we can figure out along the way. Theo claps his hands together in delight, a grin stretching across his face. I lean back and run a hand over my bald head. The idea is wild, but how hard could it be? Alright, we should be getting to new content soon. Theo continues to rattle off ideas, barely pausing for breaths between each new thought, but my mind is too focused on the practical problems to pay them enough attention. Eventually, it starts to get late, and I head out, promising him I'll think about it. As I leave Theo's room and walk back towards my room, the halls of CCC are quiet, but given the storm of problems and potential solutions that's raging in my head, that suits me just fine. I'm no programmer. Heck, I've never even designed anything more complex than a custom character in a game's character creator. And yet, as I walk down the corridor, my mind races with possibilities and doubts. Making a game with Theo? The thought is daunting. It's not just about coming up with an idea, but building it from scratch, debugging it. Stuff I know nothing about, but Theo seems convinced we can do it. It's not completely impossible, I guess. You do read about a viral hit of a game that's made by one guy every now and again. And about half of those have graphics that look like a child made them, and have some royalty-free music as its soundtrack, if even that. If it's both me and Theo, then we have, like, twice the chance of success, right? But then there's the time commitment, the effort, and what if it fails? What if we spend months on this thing and nothing comes out of it? College is already going to be tough enough without adding game development into my schedule. I open the door to my dorm and flick on the light. The room greets me with its emptiness. I really, really need to get some posters or something. I pace around the room. Pros and cons begin to ping-pong in my head. Pro, it could be cool working with Theo. His passion for this is certainly infectious. His passion for everything is infectious. Con, I've got zero experience. What if I drag us down? Pro, if we actually pull this thing off, it could be amazing. A real achievement. Con, it's risky. Games flop all the time, even those made by professionals. Man, college is supposed to be about figuring out your future, not jumping headfirst into some crazy project on day one. I glance at the empty bed on the other side of the room and stare at it for a while. There's silence. This late into the night, not even the other students seem to be making much noise at all, and I'm left alone with my thoughts. I'm alone, period. Flashes from my brief time with Theo and Elliot appear in my mind. I realize that in the last 24 hours, I haven't given even one thought to my life before CCC beyond thinking of my parents, my indecision, my hobbies. Not one name from high school pops into my head. I've been alone for a while, haven't I? But not this afternoon. I wasn't alone with Theo, Elliot, and Rebecca. That was fun. Maybe. I add another item to the pros and cons list. It'd be fun. I need to sleep on this. Maybe things will be clearer in the morning. Or maybe they'll be exactly the same, and I still have no clue what I'm doing or what I'll want to do. Okay, now there should be more new stuff after this. Wow, these dorm room beds are actually surprisingly nice. I figured that the dorms here would be as simple and functional as possible, but this is probably better than my own room back home. The walls are perhaps a bit plain, but I never found a band I liked enough to get their posters, and even action figures or cars were more of my dad's thing. Still, I appreciate the sturdy carpentry that has gone into making these beds solid. I try to shake myself awake and find that the mattress doesn't shift at all, no matter how much I thrash around. Makes sense, considering the very different bodies and species that are supposed to fit in these. Man, they must have spent half their budget on these beds. It's like lying on a cloud that's made out of softer clouds. I could get used to this. Seriously. No wonder dinosaurs almost went extinct. They probably spent all day lounging around, too comfy to notice the meteor. You can just sink into the mattress and just let go. Wait. Something is wrong. I'm comfortable. Too comfortable. Alarm bells are triggered in my brain. Holdovers from one too many talks my boss gave me back when I had a summer job. The type that came with a deep frown and a stern warning about coming in late because... Oh crap, I slept in! I grab my phone from the nightstand and looking at the time, it's like being punched in the gut. It's 9:48 a.m. My first class starts at 10. How did this happen? I know I set my alarm for 8:30. 8:30 p.m. Oh, I hate when that happens. I've done that before. Whatever, I literally have no time to dwell on it. I sprint across the room, clothes flying in every direction as I search for everything I need for the day. The day that also happens to be my official first day as a Cretaceous College of Computing student. No pressure. Usually I wouldn't care much about this, but my phone displays a text unreceived just a few minutes ago from Theo. The land of the living, I want you to know morning classes freaking blow. If you are awake yet, I'm gonna be in the cafeteria at 9. I miss you, crying face. Dude, I almost forgot, we got a first date tradition. You should write number 1 on your forehead. All the freshmen are doing it. My sleep-deprived brain needs an extra few moments to process the text. First day tradition? How come I haven't heard about it before? It's ridiculous. I'm gonna go with it anyway. Super duper not gonna go with it at all. No, he's obviously joking. I'm not gonna do that. A pair of jeans from my duffel. Check. Shirt. There it is. Crumpled, but it'll have to do. Comfortable shoes for all the running between classes, and a pair of mismatched socks to tie it all together. No one's gonna see them under my jeans anyway. In record time, I'm dressed and fumbling to tie my shoes, with hands shaking from adrenaline. Teeth? No time to brush them. I grab a stick of gum instead and chew until my jaw starts screaming for mercy. Phone, wallet, keys, shove them into my pockets as I rush out the door. The hallway is empty. Everyone else is already where they need to be. I run down the stairs and out of the building, only to find the colorful campus outside is already buzzing with activity. I dodge a couple of Triceratops playing frisbee and nearly trip over a Velociraptor on a bike. My lungs burn as I push through the quad, sidestepping students and jumping over benches like some kind of parkour athlete, or at least that's how it feels. The Mathematis building looms ahead, and I glance at my phone again. 9:57 a.m. Almost there. I'm inside the building, but now I've got to find the right classroom. I'm so close to the finish line. So close. I made it! With 2 entire minutes to spare at that. Now if only I could stop the fiery pain from my lungs and legs. Stepping into the first class of my college life, it's not exactly what I was expecting. I assumed all the classes would be in large auditorium-style rooms, gigantic whiteboard dominating the whole back wall, semi-comfy seats, but this? It's a simple room, with wooden desks and chairs, complete with metal legs, that you just know aren't properly balanced. The desks even have a cubbyhole beneath them to hold books and whatever else you can fit. At the very front, there's the teacher's desk and a blackboard. A blackboard? Not a white one for markers, a black one with tiny pieces of chalk under it. This just looks like high school. I cringe at the thought of all the chalk scraping hell to come, as if math wouldn't be bad enough on its own. Do I just sit anywhere, or is this actually like high school and we have assigned seats? Beyond that, I need to consider that some students have wings and actual horns. Should I sit at the front to make sure I can see it all, or hide behind them to avoid standing out so much? You must be the human Ugh! I jump at the voice right behind me, feeling my heart skip one too many beats. Turning to its source, I find a short, heavy-set Pachysaurus looking at me with a stern but tired expression. Based on the way he's dressed, dress pants, a tie, and a well-ironed shirt, I'm guessing he's our professor. Either that or a really old student. Which is not an entirely unreasonable assumption. This is a college, I remind myself, not a high school, no matter how much it looks like one. And even if it was a high school, it would be okay for anyone of any age to get their education done. Commendable, even. Kid, are you listening? Crap, I spaced out, didn't I? No, sorry, what did you ask me? Your name. You're the only human kid around this year. Yes, I'm Dev Loper. Julian Hawthorne. Mr. Hawthorne speaks in a surprisingly deep, gravelly rumble. I'll be your professor for this class. Just pay attention and you'll do fine, I'm sure. You mentioned only human kid this year. Have there been other humans before then? No, but we're hoping to have a more varied student body in the coming semesters. This is good. It feels like I'm making a good impression, I think. But now that I'm talking to him, I'm still wondering about the seating, so... Thanks, I'm new to this whole college thing. Do we have assigned seats, or... He chuckles at the question. My ears grow warm out of a slight feeling of embarrassment. No, kiddo, you're all adults. Sit where you like. I must warn you, though, it's first come, first serve, so if you want the good seats, you'll have to get here early. Thanks, Mr. Hawthorne. Out of courtesy, and to get on his good side, I offer a handshake, which he accepts with a smile. This is an adjustment. With how similarly this place looks to high school, I was expecting more of the same, but he's right. I am an adult now. That'll be an adjustment to wrap my head around now, too. I hear the clamor of voices approaching the already half-filled room. How does this work? Is this like the guy code, where you don't, and I emphasize you don't, choose the seat next to one already in use, or will people care at all? I just take a random spot in the middle. Ideal. Won't make me look too eager, but I also won't have to squint to see anything important. I hear the professor clear his throat. Silence sets in. As some of you who have had me in other classes might know, my name is Professor Hawthorne. For the sake of those that have mistakenly walked into the wrong class, which happens far more often than I would hope, this is College Algebra, an introductory course to Advanced Algebra. A few students sheepishly stand up and walk out, to which Mr. Hawthorne just rubs his temples in frustration. I double-check my schedule, just to be sure. Yep, my adrenaline-spiked brain didn't fail me. This is the right class. Anyway, for the first week we will just be doing a refresher on what you should have been taught in your senior year of high school. After that, we will be jumping into the more fun stuff. Mr. Hawthorne gives an awkward, toothy smile. Despite his forced attempt at enthusiasm, no one in the class can be bothered to offer so much as an uninterested grunt. Right. The rest of the class is exactly as he'd said, just a bunch of stuff I only half remember from high school. I have a feeling you, Snoot, and other people's notes are going to be a necessary resource for this year. Maybe from Theo, and if that fails, then Rebecca or Elliot. Not sure if they like me enough to help me, but worth a try, I guess. It's difficult to stay focused in the class. All things considered, my mind begins to quickly drift, and the fact that Mr. Hawthorne talks in such a monotone voice doesn't really help. It actually becomes impossible to stay focused. It does give me time to think, though, about what Theo said last night, about making a game. It's a neat idea. I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with my future anyway, so maybe game design is it? I haven't tried doing anything like this before. What would it even be about? What kind of game would it be? I like fighting games, and they're not as frustrating as an open-world adventure game filled with busy work. I have a love-hate relationship with those. Open-world types usually have either great stories or the most slapped-on, cardboard-tasting excuse for a plot, and the fetch quest end up being more entertaining. And almost no one likes fetch quests. I'm not sure if I want to meet anyone who does. Visual novels are out of the question. I mean, reading in my video game? And then there's shooters. It could be a Boom clone, a linear and narrative-focused one, or a competitive shooter, ultra-replayable, but not that many assets required. What I fear the most about those is the balancing part. We'd have to make sure that every character offers a fair chance for anyone to win. But also make them feel different, because the first-person POV doesn't help much at making them stand out at first glance. And then there's the matter of objectives and gameplay. We can't just have a deathmatch mode and call it a day. I hum to myself, thinking that if I have this many thoughts about shooters, maybe they're the idea that I like the most. I write all of this down in the empty spaces of the margins of my notes, regardless of my feelings on it for now. I'll have to discuss this with Theo later. I can't deny that I'm excited about having an actual friend in college and having something fun to talk about with them. Something that... Oh, neat, more animation. Susie? Not Susie. My thoughts are interrupted by what could best be described as an absolute unit of an individual, trying their best to enter the classroom as quietly as possible. Unfortunately for them, however, it seems the world wishes to play the cruelest prank on them by making the door as ear-gratingly squeaky as possible. It even eclipses Mr. Hawthorne's chalk sounds. It creaks loud, long, and clear, making everyone's head turn in their direction. Hard not to be distracted by some guy with shoulders that reach 6 feet on their own, and a neck that is easily twice as long, if not more. The professor looks at the late arrival with quite a bit of annoyance. Miss Bennett... I thought that wasn't a guy. Miss Bennett, so glad for you to finally join us today. That behemoth is a girl? I feel the need to slap my own face for my stupid assumption. I'm also getting the feeling that these two know each other. The large girl looks around the room as all eyes are on her, and her face turns beet red at the attention. I see her mouth something to Mr. Hawthorne, but I don't hear anything at all. He just rolls his eyes and gestures for her to take a seat. I guess he wasn't joking about the seats. The only one left is the one right next to me. Does it say something about me that the only seat left is besides me? It's not a bad seat, and there's someone on my other side, but now that I take a look, they've scooted closer to the seat to their left, conspicuously a few extra inches further from me. The chair creaks too as the Brontosaur girl tries to adjust the desk beside me, all while failing to make herself seem smaller. Her long neck bends down at a painful angle and rests on the floor, not wanting to obscure the person behind her's view of the board. Once she's done accommodating her head, the professor gets back to his lecture. I too get back to my battle against passing out from boredom. I decide to write down any game-related idea that I have, or draw an asterisk on every topic that I can't remember anything about. Math isn't my forte, never was, but I do remember most of the topics Mr. Hawthorne lists on the blackboard. I wasn't half bad at them in high school, so I don't feel like paying that much attention anyway. Back to thinking about other things. Maybe we could just start simple, like a basic platformer, a point-and-click game. Mr. Hawthorne claps once, and I jump in my seat at the harsh sound. And that will be all for today. For the rest of class, just study the material and be sure to copy all the notes on the board. All the information about upcoming tests will be posted at the end of the week, and all of the topics too. A list of references and suggested bibliography can be requested at the library. Just mention my name and the name of the course, and the librarian will give it to you. Oh shit. I realize that I haven't listened to a single thing he said, besides some random tidbits that don't really connect to one another. The value of X will forever remain lost to me if things stay this way. I quickly copy everything on the board. It's only the first day, I'll figure it out, or something. The Brontosaurus girl next to me seems to be writing quite a bit down. Bennett, was it? But that's her surname, surely. I wish Mr. Hawthorne had called her by her first name earlier. It would sound weird if I tried to get her attention with Bennett or Hey Girl. Maybe a quick peek at her notes and then I don't need to bother her. I glance closer and see... She wrote nothing down. Even though she came in late, she hasn't even written down the notes from the board. Her notebook is covered in detailed doodles that extend from one page to another. Huh. They're actually pretty good, like jaw-droppingly good. The one in the middle especially, it looks like some demon. The shading is uncannily realistic despite only being done in pencil. Though, looking at it more closely, is that... It's Mr. Hawthorne, but as some weird Japanese demon thing, a big club on his back and an expression of anger like on those old Japanese samurai ink drawings. Guess she didn't take the dressing down he gave her well. Can't blame her for that. Had it been me in her place, well, I don't quite know what I would do. Probably drop dead from shame, to be honest. The drawing looks pretty cool, though. Glancing up at the Bronto to make sure that she hasn't noticed me staring, I notice she looks sad? Does she not like her own drawing? But it looks so good. Maybe I should compliment it? But would that come off as creepy, like I'm spying on her? I guess I could ask her if she's doing alright, then it's more like I'm only concerned about her. But I am also just some random stranger, so would I be overstepping? Stop overthinking and compliment the drawing. Yeah, nothing is more creepy than someone showing some kindness, ask her if she's alright. As if I have the balls to just talk to some random girl, keep quiet like the coward I am. Ask her if she's alright. Hey, you okay? She turns her head towards me, but with her face nearly completely covered in hair, it's hard to get a read on her. I saw what happened earlier, that was kinda rough. No response. Not even a nod or a shake of her head, just more silence and awkwardness. She's giving me nothing to work with. I try to focus on her expression under all the hair, but all I can see is the very tip of her nose and her mouth. You were looking down, and I figured I'd make sure you were okay. Her lips go through a whole series of different emotions in rapid sequence before settling on a weak smile. Maybe she's just really shy. I can sympathize with that. I see her mouth move, but I don't hear anything. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Again, her mouth moves, but nothing comes out of it. I had guessed earlier that I couldn't hear her response to Mr. Hawthorne because of the distance between us, but now I'm not so sure. I think I can hear a faint whisper, but even with how quiet it is in the class now that most of the students have stormed out, it's impossible to be sure. Maybe she's just insanely shy. I'm really sorry. I can't hear you. Could you speak a little louder? Her mouth and neck drop at my comment. She buries herself deeper into her hoodie, quickly closing her notebook. Did I say something wrong? I feel bad about my insistent tone. I shouldn't have done that. Is she, like, mute? Can she not speak? I've made her uncomfortable, and now I'm feeling just as uncomfortable and terrible, too. I'm about to apologize, but she turns away from me. Great. Perfect job, Dev. You barely said anything to her, and she already hates you. I knew I should have just kept my big mouth shut. I scratch my bald head harshly, my fingernails surely leaving red marks along my scalp. I give a brief consideration to the time, but I still have 2 hours before my next class. Just as I'm about to think myself into a self-deprecating spiral, though, I feel a finger poke my shoulder. It's the Bronto girl again. She's sliding a piece of paper over to me. It's a picture of her, her long neck now comically longer and twisting around so it spells out, "Thank you," in cursive. At the end is her head, her eyes looking in different directions, with her tongue sticking out and tied in a knot. I'm Dev, by the way. She nods and closes her notebook and pushes it towards me. On the top is the name Emily. Nice to meet you, Emily. She gives a small smile and nods again. Now that we're actually on a first-name basis, I realize I could still use any help I can get. I take a deep breath in preparation, and maybe she took some notes? Better than the nothing I currently have. Hey, I know it's a long shot since you came in late, but you wouldn't happen to take notes on what the professor went over, would you? I kinda zoned out for some of the class. Most of it, honestly. She mutely snickers at that before digging through her book bag. After a moment, she pulls out a weathered notebook and flips deftly through it to reveal the very notes I need. Huh, I guess she did take notes after all. Great job, Dev. Even the girl that came in late is more prepared and focused than you. I take out my phone and just snap a photo of the notes. Work smarter, not harder, and all that. Thanks, I appreciate it. I still have quite a while until my next class. Might as well use the time. So, you majoring in art? She tilts her head. I was just assuming based on all those drawings and doodles. They're really good. She looks down at her notebook again. Her face briefly shows a bit of sadness before she turns back to me and shakes her head. Yet again, she digs around in her bag and pulls out a sheet that I recognize as a college schedule. She points to several entries. Animal science, agriculture, business, horticulture. You're a farmer? She nods her head enthusiastically. That's cool. I worked on a farm before too, you know. Nothing all that fancy, just a summer job. Was hoping I would get to drive one of those big tractors, but all I ended up doing was cleaning up messes and getting half my pant leg eaten by a pig. She lets out a mousy laugh, and I frown in mock annoyance. Hey, those things are terrifying. I can't help but notice something off about her laugh. It sounded odd, more like she was choking than chuckling. Yeesh. She must have a cold or something. Well, at least that would explain her lack of speech. My stomach growls so loudly, pulling me out of my train of thought. I cringe at the inappropriate noise. Emily glances at me, her lips twitching in what I can swear is amusement. Sorry about that. I kinda skipped breakfast this morning. Probably should go grab something to eat before my next class. I stand up and start grabbing my things. A moment later, Emily does the same. It's only now that I notice we're the only ones left in the room, other than the professor. Just as we're both about to leave, Mr. Hawthorne's voice calls out. Miss Bennett, could you stay behind for a moment? I'd like to discuss something with you. Emily freezes, her shoulders sagging slightly. She looks over at me, and I can see the embarrassment in the set of her mouth. I give her a sympathetic smile. Well, see you around? She nods again, her head bobbing up and down slowly. I hesitate for a moment before turning on my heel and heading towards the door. Okay, she seems neat. Lunch is another part of college that I hadn't accounted for. Back in high school, we followed a strict schedule. I could always rely on being able to eat at the same time every day. Now, though, my jumbled schedule is set in such a way that I have to find time whenever I can to eat. This place certainly isn't holding my hand when it comes to fending for myself outside of class. The wide dining hall with all of its stations and cooking staff is open during regular class hours only. I guess college must see dinner as a business left to students to solve either with the vending machines or with the local dining establishments. Some nearby restaurants offer students like me discounts on some of their menu items, but I'm as new to the college as I am to the area. I'll have to ask around for opinions on whose pizza lasts the longest in the fridge, or which place's tacos won't make me sick. Better for me to focus on the long-term issues, right? I pull out my phone as I get in the lunch line. Of course a college of computing has an app to track classes, grades, important notifications coming directly from the administration, and some forums for official clubs and events. It's also a great place to set a calendar with test dates, but I figure that those change so much that they won't bother to update it. Too bad. I bet a lot of students would find that helpful, myself included. It looks like I have a request from the counselor to have a meeting today. I can probably just make it before my next class. I hope it isn't anything serious. It brings to mind how Elliot said something about the entire general studies course being my doing. Then a quick browse through my college account tells me that the funds made it to my virtual wallet sooner than expected, which means that I'm able to buy a warm meal without relying on handouts anymore. I'm second in line to fill my tray with the day's special, scanning the packed cafeteria when I notice Rebecca sitting alone, again. She's the only familiar face in this sea of dinosaurs. Once I've paid for my food, my feet start moving towards her. Wait, do I really want to do this? She wasn't exactly friendly yesterday. I take a step back, nearly bumping into someone behind me. Sorry. Rebecca hasn't noticed me yet. She's hunched over, typing furiously at her laptop. At the same time, she's idly sipping soda through a straw and eating strips of bacon with chopsticks? Smart, that way your fingers don't get greasy. Interesting choice. Alright, do I want to try and sit with the girl who only wanted me to get lost yesterday? Maybe I should just eat outside. It's a sunny day and the trees have benches under them. The surrounding foliage gives the whole scenery a zen feel. But the exit takes me right past her table anyways. Come on, Dev, it's just lunch, not like she's gonna bite your head off. But then again, she's a raptor. Do raptors bite heads off? Is even thinking that racist? Note to self, Google that later. I take a deep breath and start walking towards her table. Either way, I need to make a decision quickly. Sit with her? Sit outside. With her? I take a deep breath and approach Rebecca's table. My palms are sweating profusely and my heart's trying to escape my chest. Here goes nothing. I plop down across from her without a word and offer her a smile. Smooth AF. Rebecca's head snaps up, her eyes narrowing. Excuse me. Hey. She glares at me, her claws still tapping away on her laptop. Is it a normal skinny custom to just sit at someone's table without asking? Skinny? No, I just thought... My brain is desperately searching for words, but it's coming up empty. I feel my face burning. This was a mistake. A huge, embarrassing mistake. I stand up so fast that I nearly spill my entire tray. I'm sorry, I'll just go. Sorry for bothering you. As I turn to leave, Rebecca sighs loudly. Oh, for fuck's sake, sit down. I freeze, caught between fleeing and staying. What? Sit down. I still don't move. Great, now you're making me look like an asshole. Just sit already. I slowly lower myself back into the chair, feeling like I'm navigating a minefield. Thanks? Don't thank me. God, just stop making this so damn awkward. She's the one making such a big deal about this. I simply nod, staring back down at my food. Another social situation effortlessly navigated, Dev. With a roll of her eyes, she continues picking away at her bacon with the grace and speed of someone accustomed to handling chopsticks. It's a curious sight. So, why are you eating like that? She raises one eyebrow at me. You know, with the chopsticks. It keeps my hands clean. Can't risk getting grease on my laptop. Oh, right. That makes sense, I guess. But why not use a fork? She looks at the chopsticks in her hand for a moment and shrugs. I just like them. We continue to eat our food in awkward quiet. The silence is killing me, so I try another approach. That laptop looks pretty sturdy. Was it expensive? Rebecca's eyes light up. Clearly, this is a topic she's interested in. Expensive? This isn't just any laptop. It's a top-of-the-line gaming rig. It's a freaking monster more than anything. Cool. This baby can run any game at max settings. It's got a 790 Ti 64 gigs of RAM and 40K OLED display. It is well beyond cool. Cost me a fortune. I nod, pretending I understood half of what she's saying. That's impressive. Rebecca scoffs. Of course it is. I thought you played games too. Console games, and even then, only ones I could find used at Gameplace. My family never really had the cash for anything too fancy. Oh, that sucks. Bravo, Dev. Way to throw such a downer into the conversation. I shrug in an effort to ease the tension. It is what it is. We lapse into another awkward silence. I take a bite of my food, desperately thinking of something to say. She goes back to typing. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, piquing my interest. You know what? Today, I'm letting my curiosity win twice in a row. So, what are you writing there? Rebecca's fingers freeze over her keyboard. She looks up at me, her eyes narrowing again. Why do you care? I shrug, pushing my food around on my plate. Just curious, I guess? Then prepare to stay curious. It's nothing important. Come on, it must be something cool. Both times I've seen you here, you were pretty focused on it. She shifts uncomfortably in her seat. It's just stuff. Stupid stuff. Hey, if it matters to you, it's not stupid. Rebecca scoffs. You don't even know what it is. True, but I know it matters to you. That's enough, isn't it? She stares at me for a moment and then shakes her head. It's just writing, stories and stuff. Like I said, nothing special. That sounds pretty neat to me. What kind of stories? Rebecca looks away, her claws tapping nervously on the table. Just fan fiction, mostly. She shakes her head. Never mind, I told you. It was stupid. No way, that's awesome. I wish I could write stuff like that. Never had much talent for it, though. She looks back at me, surprised. Really? Are you screwing with me? I shake my head, brushing aside a twinge of envy. Not at all. I mean, you have something that you're passionate about. That's more than I can claim. That's really cool, honest. Rebecca tilts her head, studying me with an inscrutable gaze. You don't have anything you're passionate about? I've got a hard time believing that. Everyone's interested in something. I shrug, suddenly feeling exposed. Not really. I've tried a bunch of different things, but never found anything that actually clicked, you know? She nods slowly, her expression softening a bit. Yeah, I guess. So, would you be willing to show it to me? Your writing, I mean. Who knows? Maybe seeing your work might spark a deep passion for writing in me. Fine, if you really want to read it, I guess I could show you. Really? That's awesome. She rolls her eyes, but I catch a hint of a smile. Don't get too excited. You'll probably think it's terrible. I doubt that, but even if it is, who cares? You're doing something you love. That's what matters, right? Yeah, I guess you're right. Look, consider this a vote of confidence, okay? Close your eyes. What? Just do it, Dev. I do. I hear her take a deep breath before she begins to speak, her words rolling out like the opening lines of a long-forgotten epic. The great hall of Castle Elfenheil stretches out before you. A long red carpet runs the length of the room, its plush fibers thick and warm beneath your feet. A massive open balcony spans the back of the hall, casting golden sunlight over everything. I picture it immediately. The red carpet feels rich and inviting. The warmth surrounds me as I stand there, taking it all in. Silk curtains flow from the high ceilings, billowing softly as if stirred by an unseen breeze. They shimmer with every flicker of lights. Around you gather beings of all shapes and sizes, some tall and regal, others small and nimble. My eyes dart around this imagined space filled with countless races, each one unique. I feel as though I've entered the presence of something grand and profound. At the far end of the hall stands a massive throne occupied by an enormous red dragon, scales glistening like jewels under the golden light. Much of its body is cast in shadow from the bright light at its back, only its piercing eyes visible. A chill runs down my spine at her description. Confronting such a beast almost defies imagination, but with Rebecca's words, it's as if I'm standing there at its mercy. A smaller dragon walks forward on shaky legs. It bows before the towering figure. The air is thick with anticipation, and silence blankets the room. The subservient Drake speaks in a shaky voice while lowering its head even further. Her words draw me in deeper. As it speaks, a deep rumble resonates in response from the massive beast on its throne, a sound that shakes the very bones of every being present. I can almost feel that rumble vibrating through my chest. The smaller dragon lifts its head slowly, daring to meet those fierce eyes filled with wisdom and power. Rebecca's tone captures me completely. I'm hanging on her every word. And for a moment, time seems to stop. Miss Chase, I am here to talk to you about some matters brought to my attention. Huh? Suddenly the magic is gone, and I'm yanked back to the CCC cafeteria. A large Saurian stands in front of us, hands on her hips and foot tapping in consternation. I said I need to talk with Miss Chase about some things. Oh, hey, aren't you in the same... My name is Sandrich Campy, assistant to the student union head, and I'm here to inform you of several complaints made against you. What? You were disrupting most of Miss Harper's class. Not only did you play music through your speakers, I had it at a low volume. Not only did you play music through your speakers, but several other students claimed you used some choice words during a disagreement with them. You mean the two meteor dodgers I called cunts? Kind of deserved it since they were acting like, well, cunts. A sneer crawls across the larger girl's face. Right, well, I'm fine with keeping this out of the ear of the counselor, or worse, the head of the student union, as long as you apologize to those students and at least use ear pods. And since the student union head has the ear of the dean, I'm sure we can both agree that it would be best if he didn't hear about this. Are you threatening me? Well, go right ahead, bitch. Tell him. That guy is, like, best friends with my brother, and as if I would care what some college counselor has to say. I am not apologizing to those cunts. The large girl walks away with a huff. Wasn't that a bit... much? I know her type. A goody two-shoes that thinks they can make everything perfect by getting on people's cases. Right. And the two girls? The ones you called, cunts? Meteor dodgers? Yeah, them. What did they do? They wouldn't shut up. All class, they just talked and talked and talked. Part of the reason why I turned my music on. If I couldn't concentrate, then neither would they. And neither would the rest of the class. Look, Skinny, don't think just because we shared one moment that gives you the right to lecture me. I don't know why she keeps calling me that or what it means, but I find myself getting annoyed with how much she's pushing back on this. I'm not trying to lecture you, it just seems like a bad idea to lash out because two other girls were being rude. Her jaw tightens as she shifts in her seat. I don't lash out. I mean, I've been trying to be nice, but you keep snapping at me too, insulting me. Rebecca's expression quickly shifts between a myriad of emotions: annoyance, frustration, sadness? I didn't mean anything by it, I was just joking around. Joking or not, it feels like you're just waiting for an excuse to insult me. She looks down at her bacon bites, sharply jabbing at them as if they've personally offended her as well. Look, it's not personal. I joke with everyone. Well, it doesn't feel like a joke to me. Rebecca huffs and glances back at her screen, avoiding eye contact. You're way too sensitive then. I feel my irritation bubbling up. It's hard enough trying to fit in without being treated like some punchline. I'm just trying to get along here. You don't have to make it harder. She opens her mouth like she wants to respond, but then just shuts it again. Whatever, I guess I'll just leave you alone then. I really did like your story, by the way. I wish I could have heard more. I push back my chair and stand up, tray in hand. Her silence hangs heavy between us as I turn away. As I walk towards the exit, I hear her voice behind me. Dev... But I don't turn around. The cafeteria buzzes with life around me while I leave Rebecca there in silence. For a moment, I feel bad for leaving things this way. but I just don't feel like dealing with her right now. In the middle of my walk to the counselor's office, I realized that I never bothered to ask anyone for directions. I should have asked Rebecca, but going back after the way I left, I can't imagine that would work out very well. Plus, I have another class in less than half an hour, so I can't backtrack now. It looks like I'm gonna have to just ask a random student for directions. The thought alone makes me want to retch. Eventually, I eventually stop a Psittacosaurus walking towards me. Scrolling through their phone, I blurt out my question as fast as I can, and they give me a weird look for bothering them out of nowhere. Hi, do you know where the counselor's office is? The weird look doesn't disappear from their face, causing me to squirm. After an awkward silence, they eventually give me directions. It turns out that I'm closer than I thought I was, and I also get a snarky comment on the fact that the school app has a detailed map. I open it to double check, and yep, it's there. Feeling horrible, I apologize for wasting their time. No problem, dude. They start walking away before throwing one more weird look at me over their shoulder. By the way, you should chill out, man. It's just college. Leaving me with that odd nugget of wisdom, they turn and briskly walk the other direction. Right, just college. I somehow doubt that'll radically change my approach going forward. Before I'm able to put too much thought into that little bit of wisdom, I hear the familiar ping of my phone. Huh, I don't recognize this number. Sup, skinny? Who is this? Rebecca. Theo gave me your number. Okay. And the picture you sent? Just a little goof my roommate made me. I've been sending these to, like, everyone. I just don't get her at all. First, she acts like she hates me. Then, she's nice to me. Then she hates me again, and now she's being nice again? Every time I interact with her, I feel like I understand her less. Unless... Did I fuck up? Thinking back, I did kinda lecture her, even if I didn't intend to. Thumbs up. He's just like me for real! There, that'll show her I liked her image. Maybe now things will go more smoothly. I continue until I reach the counselor's office. I raise my hand to knock before noticing a sign that says, "Come in." With a little smiley face, I push the door open and slide inside. The counselor's office is a cozy room. Comfy cushions and motivational posters and stacks of papers decorate what would otherwise be a rather cramped space. However, the homely vibe ends at the Leopleurodon leaning back into her chair behind the desk, eyes tightly shut in an expression of frustration and a can of soda held at her temple. Oh crap, that's Undyne! She's a magical Leopleurodon. She'll show us the way. Without even opening her eyes, she gestures towards the pair of chairs on the other side of the desk. You Dev? Oh, you know my name. Hi. She sits forward, her messy hair bouncing on her face as we both get a good look at each other. To say she doesn't look like the college counselor type would be an understatement. Her rather casual, messy clothes, stern, intimidating look on her face, and most conspicuously, the numerous scars patchworking her scales tell a different story altogether. Then there's the eye patch covering her left eye. Not to mention that as I move closer, I can't help but notice a smell that sadly reminds me a part of the home I wish to forget. A frown reflectively appears on my face as she shuffles around the papers on her desk. Oh, is she day drinking? You are the only human around this semester. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't know who you were. My ears start burning at the familiar answer. I wish it wasn't that simple, but it is. Until the novelty wears off, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb among my peers. Mind if I smoke? Huh? No, it's your office. I cringe. Along with the motivational posters, there's a no smoking sign literally right behind her. The irony seems lost on the counselor, who fishes around in her desk before withdrawing a large cigar. The woman lights her it and blows a perfect circle of smoke towards the roof, where I notice a clearly disassembled fire alarm. She follows my gaze and gives me a toothy grin. Don't worry about it too much. Most of the campus is new, but this building's got so much asbestos in the walls that you couldn't burn it down if you soaked it in gasoline first. Seeing my worried gaze flick to the walls, she coughs, bringing my attention back to the conversation. My name's Samantha Parker, but you can call me Sam since we're all adults here. It's nice to meet you. Would you like some tea? No thanks. Not much of a tea fan. I also don't see a kettle of any kind. Good, me neither. I think I've got some soda cans in a drawer somewhere. Here, have one. She rummages around and pushes a room temperature can of soda into my hands with much more force than I expected. Thrown for a loop, I can't do anything more than give her a blank stare. Sorry, used the cold ones to take care of my hangover this morning, which is why I didn't message you sooner. I crack open the soda can. The fizz hisses and fills the silence. Sam sits across from me, taking slow drags from her cigar, smoke curling towards the ceiling. The air feels thick with it, and I glance around, unsure of what to do with my hands. This is getting awkward. She called me here for a reason, right? As it stands, we're both just sitting in silence as she nurses a cigar and I sip the soda hospitably forced onto me. So... I get the ball rolling, hoping Sam will illuminate the meaning of our meeting. Instead, she takes another long drag and holds it in. Just as I go to open my mouth again, Sam finally breaks the silence. So, how's it going so far? Adjusting to college life? I blink. Despite being a perfectly reasonable icebreaker, I find myself scrambling for a way to put the last 2 days into words. It's okay, I guess. A bit overwhelming. Yeah, that's common. Lots of new faces, new freedom, and new responsibilities. What do you think about the campus? It's big, and it's different. I mean, I'm used to a place where everyone's human, and this is a whole other world compared to home. She nods, leaning back in her chair. The smoke swirls around her head like a lazy cloud. That can be tough. Have you met anyone yet? Friends? I take a moment to recall the colorful characters I've met in my short time here. I think so. I met this guy, Theo. He's been nice. And his sister, Rebecca, too. But, I don't know if they're actually friends yet. Making friends takes time. You've got to find your tribe, right? Tell me a bit more about these Theo and Rebecca characters. I rub the back of my neck. They're fine, I guess. Theo seems very enthusiastic about basically everything. Certainly a lot different from my high school friends back home. We barely know each other, and he already invited me to work on some big project. She raises an eyebrow, intrigued. What kind of project? He wants to make a video game. Do you like video games? Yeah. Then why not? Maybe it'll help you figure out what you want to do for your future. Kid, you joined a tech college with no major. You didn't even sign up for any electives. It doesn't take a mind reader to figure out you're a bit lost. Take it from me. These things take time. Play it by ear, I say. Last thing you want to do is overcommit and end up hating what you chose to do for the rest of your life. I swallow down the nerves, unsure if one situation is better than the other. I just want to get through my first semester without completely embarrassing myself at this point. I sit back, sipping on my soda, waiting for her next question. I jump as the alarm on my phone goes off. Looking at it, I'm reminded about my next class coming up soon. A class which happens to be on the opposite side of the campus. Great, I'll have to book it if I want to make it in time. I get up to leave. Before you go, I wanted to ask you about your home life. Why exactly? In both of my questions, you mentioned something about home, your old town, your old school. Just wanted to know if you're homesick. She shrugs. It's a normal feeling for freshmen like you. I don't feel homesick. Have you talked with your parents today? No, I haven't talked with them since I left home. Really? Any reason why? Family issues? I really need to go, and I really don't want to have this conversation. I've been pretty busy the last 2 days, getting settled in classes and stuff. Sure. Give them a call, kid. I'm sure they miss you as much as you miss them. Sure, maybe. My thumbs circle each other. Her innocent suggestion burns in my mind as I go to leave, but I have neither the time nor the mindset to meditate on it right now. The smell of smoke and alcohol radiating off of her reminds me of the worst parts of home, lessening my desire to spill my life story, even if I had the time. Is that all, Counselor Sam? I really should get going to my next class. She nods tiredly and dismisses me with a slow wave of her hand. Yeah, you're good to go, kid, and don't be a stranger. I know my appearance might make it seem otherwise, but my door is always open. I nod and leave her office. Turning back, I see her return to her papers and the old computer by her side. And for the second time on my first day, I'm running late. Any reasonable person would realize that there's no hope and just saunter into class, but upon recalling how Mr. Hawthorne had welcomed Emily, I don't want to test how well I'd hold up to such a dressing down. I run as fast as I can, skipping steps and trekking through stretches of grass blowing right by several signs that clearly instruct me to keep off the grass. I'm gasping for air by the time I find myself standing before the door to the music room. My hand hovers over the knob and I'm about to turn it before my ears perk up at the gentle melody of a violin just inside. Damn it, class must already be in session. My arm moves on its own to pull the door open, revealing rows of chairs set in a semicircle centered around a podium and a whiteboard. Ooh. A gray Triceratops girl stands alone behind the podium. She lovingly holds a violin, one hand letting the bow travel gracefully across the strings. Her eyes are closed, and a small smile dances across her lips. Her body slowly sways to the rhythm of her melody. I become conscious of my gaping expression. My finger taps along out of sync as I try and fail to follow along with the tempo out of impulse. I have no idea what song she's playing, but it's beautiful. I walk to the closest empty seat as the girl reaches the finishing notes. An older man stands and walks to her. He begins to applaud. Everyone else joins in, me included. Awesome, Abigail. Completely awesome. That was freaking perfect. Thank you, Mr. Jablinski, for letting me do a demonstration. Her accent is strange. She rolls her R's and her H's are ultra silent. Should I even attempt that? I don't think I should. Making her thank sound like a tank. Any word with an R sounds like the purr of a kitten as she speaks it. The teacher, Mr. Jablinski, turns to the rest of the class. Oh wait, that's Jack Black from School of Rock. That's awesome. No one seems to notice or care that I'm late. Oh, you must be Dev. Good of you to join us. I spoke too soon. Why don't you show us some of your skills? You are the last to arrive, after all. The teacher grins and waggles his eyebrows. And musicians always save the best for last. He punches the air and makes air guitar gestures while whistling. It seems like my reputation as the only human will continue to precede me. And considering the kind of character that the counselor is, I'm wondering if Mr. Hawthorne was the exception and that I should just expect all of my professors to be this eccentric. Okay, I guess. Go get whatever you want from the back of the room. No electric anything yet. The electrician's still gotta do some fuse fixing or something before we plug in the real bangers, the kind that'll make the other teachers write complaints about me again. I walk around the other students, pointedly avoiding their inquisitive looks. Sure enough, there's a pile of drums, many string instruments, and a keyboard plopped against the wall, and many, many cases of varied shapes. There are also amplifiers, pedals, and soundboards, every cable neatly folded on top of one another. With nowhere to currently plug them in, I take the familiar shape of a trombone case among the rest. I grab it and pull the zipper open, freeing the instrument. I was first trombone at my high school band. I walk slowly to the front of the class, thinking that even if it's not the sexiest instrument, at least I wasn't the first triangle in the band. I briefly wonder if there's something as sad as second triangle in bigger school bands. There I stand, in front of eager and expectant eyes, while I fumble the braces and eye the mouthpiece. It looks dry and a bit dusty, so I thumb at it to remove some of the soot. Well? I bring the instrument to my mouth, pressing my lips together and start playing First Nation Army, starting notes, my arm arching back and forth methodically. The results are questionable on their own. It would have been acceptable from a marching band making the rounds at a football field, but I'm on my own, and my hand slips more than it should when landing on the notes. Out of the corner of my eyes, I see the gray Tricera from earlier cringe. My cheeks are burning. I stop after a few seconds. That was alright, Dev. It's good to know that you're not going from absolute zero to hero here. A student snickers. More like from 0.5 to hero. Mr. Jablinski shushes them. You can either show us the melody of your feet walking out of my classroom or zip it. He makes a zipping motion with his fingers. Absolutely no making fun of anyone once you're past that door and inside my realm, okay? The class replies with an echoey, okay. I retake my seat and Mr. Jablinski starts the class proper. Mr. Jablinski uses the very first class to go over the schedule for the rest of the semester. The class is otherwise uneventful. This time, I take notes, though, mostly upcoming expeditions and events. Students are supposed to present a piece at the end of the course, either a composition made by oneself or an arrangement based on someone else's music. It could be a solo presentation with the teacher at the piano, or a duet with one of the students taking the helm at the keys. That, or go through a 20-page-long written exam. The class ends an hour and a half later. I'm left with a treasure trove of information on the upcoming semester, feeling a little overwhelmed for the first day, honestly. Abigail is staying to have a short talk with the teacher while the rest of us prepare to leave. Then, Mr. Jablinski jumps up. Shucks, I'm late for a meeting. Gotta scram. Don't take anything from the classroom without my permission. Then he makes a break for the door, disappearing around the corner. only for his head to reappear, peeking past the door frame and his hand making a "I see you" gestures at the students still remaining. I will notice if someone took anything. Consider this your only warning of my bodacious wrath when it comes to my babies. Behave. Then he leaves, for real this time. I'm in the middle of returning the instrument that I used for my demonstration when I overhear a couple of students mocking Abigail's accent. They mock her strong R's and her silent H's while saying goodbye to her, calling her Little Miss Perfect. She turns her nose up at them as she packs her violin. It makes my blood boil. I guess I was right that this place is just like high school. It makes me want to do something. I wait. Oh crap. What's my order of care in this situation? Say something? I rip a blank page from a nearby unattended notebook. I hastily ball it up and throw it in the direction of the mean-spirited group. It hits its mark, bouncing off of the main taunter's spiky head. I'm quick to cross my arms and turn away to feign innocent. They mutter more insults my way now, but leave with sneers on their faces. I cough once the mean group leaves. Abigail glares at me. I actually like your accent? Abigail squints at me, and I reconsider my words. What I mean is, it's sophisticated sounding. Don't let them get you down. Something inside her skirt pocket begins pinging repeatedly. She ignores it as she continues looking at me. I wasn't, but thank you, I suppose. I liked your playing. Thanks, but, I wasn't very good. Even Mr. Jablinski seemed to notice. It was certainly an interesting instrument you played. It looks so cumbersome, I can't imagine it's easy to play. The trombone? I guess so. I take it you never played in high school pep rallies? Her face drops. Oh, I was homeschooled. Ah, that's cool. Taking a good look at her now, she's prim, proper, and elegant, standing ramrod straight and with perfectly combed hair. I have no idea how to reply in the ensuing silence. Her phone keeps ringing off the hook, notifications pinging one after another. It's giving me anxiety at this point. Are you going to pick that up? No, I am not. With her phone continuing to chime, she looks me up and down now, her frown deepening as she focuses on my shirt. Your clothes. I look down at myself. Sure, my shirt's a bit wrinkled and my jeans have seen better days, but it's not like I'm planning on walking down a runway. What's wrong with them? She begins digging around in her bag before pulling out some sort of small spray bottle. What are you... Without warning, she spritzes a few sprays of some sort of mystery liquid onto my shirt. Oh god, I've been acid attacked. What the hell? We jump apart, her in embarrassment and me in shock. Sorry, it's wrinkle release spray. See, watch. She grabs the hem of my shirt and gives it a slight tug. When she lets go, it's noticeably smoother than before. Afterwards, she wilts in embarrassment, her cheeks turning pink. I find myself just as bashful for freaking out over something so small, something helpful, even. Well, thanks, I guess. Sorry again, I thought I would help. It's fine, just maybe a warning next time. She shakes her head fervently before holding out the offering spray bottle in both hands. The offending spray bottle in both hands. No, it was rude of me, but please take it for yourself. I have several more back in my room. Think of it as my apology to you. I gingerly take the bottle from her, inspecting it. I wouldn't have thought of it myself, but it could clean me up on days that I find myself rushed. Alright, yeah, thanks. Your name was Abigail, right? Hila, yes, and you were Depp? It's Dev, actually. Nice to meet you. I timidly hold out my hand, not sure if it's the proper etiquette or not here. She lightly accepts the handshake with a smile and a nod. It's good to meet you too, Dev. Her phone beeps again, and this time a flicker of annoyance shows on her face. She fidgets with the strap of her violin case, clearly trying to ignore it, and I can only guess why. Maybe I should ask about it? Be nosy, ask her, mind your own business. Oh boy. Let's be nosy, fuck it. Is everything okay? Kinda hard to ignore all that ringing. It is fine, just my parents. They can be rather, how do you say, clingy? Ah, gotcha. I can't help but remember my talk with the counselor about my parents. I'm sure they just miss you. You should answer them. I offer a supportive smile. You are probably right. She sighs, finally pulling out her phone and scrolling through it for a moment. Seems they wish to talk. One moment, please. She moves the phone up to her head. Hello? Yes, Mama. No, I was just in class. Still am. I did not hear the texts. Yes, I am fine. I was not ignoring you. She kinda was, though. Abigail glances at me and turns away, her voice even lower and now speaking in a foreign language. Usko minwe mi ol... I can't pronounce any of that. She hangs up the phone, still turned away. Trouble? No, as I said, they can just be persistent. Anyways, I should hurry back to the dorms before they try to reach me again. Alright, don't let me keep you. It was very nice meeting you, Dev, and thank you. What for? She shrugs at that. For just talking to me, I suppose. Our peers haven't been so friendly. Right, I, noticed. But you're welcome. See you in class tomorrow? She gives me a nod as we both leave the classroom and part ways. Even though it was a short and kind of awkward interaction, she seems nice. I check my phone to see that Theo had texted me earlier, saying that he'd be in the library until it closed. I stopped by my room before heading there, figuring he could use some help with whatever's keeping him so late. History homework, I imagine. And despite how Counselor Sam's whole vibe rubbed me the wrong way, I think she was right about seizing the opportunity I have in making a game with him. Before any of that, though, I figure I should at least try and call home. When I get back to my dorm, I'm quick to pull out my phone and call home. Images of Abigail's change in mood flash fresh in my mind. Someone picks up the line, a beat of silence passing before they answer. Hello? Who is this? Hey, Dad, it's me. Another beat of silence. My palms begin to sweat. Hello? Can you hear me? Huh? Oh yeah. Who was this again? It's me, Dad. It's Dev. Oh, hey, champ. How you doing? Me and your mom haven't heard from you since yesterday. I didn't call you yesterday. What? Yeah, you did. We talked about, we definitely talked about, His words are a slurry of syllables crashing against one another. Is he really... Dad, we didn't talk yesterday. Yeah, well, took you long enough to call, you know. I heard about those cold-blooded girls go crazy for us warm bloods. Bet you were too busy drowning it. Dad! He is. Dad, are you drunk? What? I am not drunk. You sound like you are. Dad? Huh? What's up? Are you drunk again? Look, Dev, work was pretty tough today. I just had one drink to relax and unwind. Was that one drink before or after work this time? God damn it, Dad, you promised. Huh? Hold up 1 minute, Dev. I think your mom wants to talk to you. The sound of muffled static plays as the other end of the line is shuffled about. Sorry, champ, it actually looks like she's asleep on the couch. Is she asleep, or is she passed out on the couch? Look, Dev, me and your mom are not drunk. We only have a few drinks. I fucking knew it. You know what, Dad? My day was pretty rough, too, so I think I'm gonna go to bed. Alright, talk to you later, champ. I hang up. I don't want to deal with this. I think I finally have an answer for Counselor Sam's question. I'm not homesick at all. I feel envious of Emily, Rebecca, and Abigail. I wish I could wriggle my fingers on a pencil or a keyboard or a frickin' maracas to help me create anything, to make something of myself more than the child of a pair of drunks. Counselor Sam, in all her foul-smelling wisdom, is right about something. I can't afford to let opportunities pass me by. I can't do anything about the situation back home. Still can't, I guess. But I can do something about my situation here. I dial Theo's number. Hey man, what's wrong? Why do you assume something is wrong? Well, you are calling me rather than texting me like a normal person, so I only assumed. Whatever, listen, you were right, so I want to do it with you. There's a pause. I'm very flattered, but I don't think I'm interested in you, that way, buddy, but thanks for the offer. That came out wrong. The game, Theo, the game. I want to make the game with you. Oh, really? That's cool, man. You don't sound as enthusiastic as last night. No, I am, it's just, and I'm being serious this time, is something wrong? You sound pretty mad. If this is about what I texted you this morning. No, let's just say families are complicated. Right. Hey, Elliot should be back at the dorm, and I'm nearly done with this tower of books I got going on in the library. You want to meet us over at our dorm and hang out for a bit? We never did finish Rock Ring. So you're still in the library? Do you mind me coming there? Absolutely not. Come on down, man. This is my lightest day of the week in terms of the amount of lessons I have to attend, but my duties are not over. I have a favor to repay. Following the map in the CCC app, this time easily finding the library, and Theo torturing himself in the middle of a very literal tower of books. As I approach him, I see that more than half of the books on his table aren't even about any sort of history. He hears me get closer. His eyes twinkle when he sees me. Aw, man, you didn't draw anything on your forehead. I have some semblance of dignity to conserve, and I don't need help whittling it away any faster this year. I pick up a random book. Advanced Quantum Mechanics? Theo, what the hell? Is this for one of your classes? I sit on the chair next to him. Huh? Oh yeah, but that stuff was easy. History, though? Who cares what dead people did? Okay, fair enough, but why didn't you put any of them away when you were done? That's what the librarian and her assistants are here for. I frown at him. Look, I'm gonna help you as much as I can, that's a given, but we're putting these back in their rightful place, because my grandma did not raise me that way. Oh, shit. My parents did, but I don't want to be that way. Mentioning her out loud makes me realize how much I miss my grandma, especially in the wake of my phone call home. I grab another book, this time about actual history, and ask Theo what he covered in class. Ottoman Empire, easily enough located through the records. There's more than enough information about it to go through, and we don't have to cross-reference many texts to find all the bullet points that will be in Theo's next test. I, too, have general history as one of my courses, so this will help me quite a lot. Theo hasn't mentioned if the tutor for this course is the same as mine, and we're too busy trying to overcome his poor information retention to focus on anything else. To be fair to him, it is an absurd amount of info, and I see why Theo asked for help in the first place. I end up suggesting flashcards. He seems happy with those. My sis once tried to help me that way, but she isn't half as patient with me like you are. He grins at me. Seriously, thanks, dude. Remembering how fondly Rebecca spoke of Theo and how fondly he's speaking of her now, I feel another pang of envy. Though I am reminded of something she said, or called me. Hey, Theo, what does skinny mean? Shh, shh. He quickly silences me, looking back and forth over the library. You can't say stuff like that out loud in here, not unless you want the librarian to bring in campus security, and trust me, she will. Do you really not know what that word means? I come from a mostly human town. I never heard anyone use it before. Who called you it, then? Your sister. Dang it, Rebecca. I'm assuming it isn't some Saurian nickname for humans like I thought. No, it is, just not a very nice one, exactly. So she was insulting me, then. She has a unique way of talking to people. I doubt she truly meant anything by it, but look, I'll talk to her about it, okay? It's not that big a deal. It's fine. I don't want you two arguing on my behalf. She shouldn't be talking to you like that. Trust me, it's fine. Let's just forget about that for now, okay? Sure. He is right. I shouldn't dwell on it. I mean, it was a single argument, and despite it, I can't help but feel happy for how the day went. Emily showing me her drawing, Rebecca reading to and confiding in me, Abigail playing a beautiful melody. Each of them are great to talk to in different ways. Each of them is so talented in their respective craft, art, writing, and music. It makes me think of how they could all come together in a... Dude. I jump at his words. Yeah? We haven't even known each other for long, but if you ever need to vent, I'm here, okay? Well, maybe not here, because this is a library, and if things get loud, we'll be kicked out. I smile. We're totally gonna do it. Theo blanches. Again, Dev, I don't like you that way. Sorry. Not that, Theo, the video game. Now I'm the one who's being sent some venomous shushes. Dude, I know, I was just messing with you. Gotta ask, though, what made you so certain? You didn't seem that into the idea yesterday. I guess you could say I had some revelations. I don't exactly have much going on. No hobbies, not really sure what I want to do next. But what I do know is that I like games, and I can't just pass up on opportunities, so I guess that's why I want to give game design a try. Theo blinks twice. An ear-to-ear grin appears on his face in an instant upon hearing that. Hell yes, dude, this is gonna be sweet. Cue another volley of violent shushes sent our way. Both of us just laughed them off before returning to our silent studying for the time being. Game creation can always come later. The end. All right, that was cool. They added a whole lot to it. Oh, neat. It auto-saved. All right. So I'm really liking the way this is shaping up so far. Again, I really, really relate to Dev as a character. I cannot wait for this to be finished. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Taylor Leiter, Doodle Deer, Voden, whoever the rest of you are who didn't talk in chat, I appreciate you anyway. You're fine. Have a good day, night, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. And tomorrow I'm streaming Delta Room at around the same time I started this stream. So if anybody wants to show up for that, that'd be neat. Bye.